All right, everyone. Trump has now come out and he's been more seriously suggesting that the U.S.-Mexico border might have to be closed. Now, he's also kind of backtracked on that in the last, 48 hours because it really spooked people, and then they started talking about avocado shortages, and I was like, the other day, I'm like, I'm sympathetic. I know there are people very goofy people that spread it on their toast in the morning because they don't know what butter is. I guess maybe they're vegan or something and they can't help it. It's a big problem. And so they're worried about that. But Trump has come out now and he said, well, I don't really want to close the border, or at least not completely. But here's the thing. It is clearly a national emergency what's happening on the southern border. You can't even make the argument that it's not. Groups of people numbering in the thousands and tens of thousands are walking hundreds of miles just to try to cross illegally. They end up getting stopped in Mexico. There are still groups that are there, sort of held under lock and key by the Mexican authorities. The Mexican government's getting tired of it, let alone the United States. I don't think that it's time to throw up our hands as a nation, go on palliative care and say, okay, well, we're just going to sort of slide into irrelevance here, fuck the border and fuck everything else. Yeah, I know the Yang Gang stuff and Clown World, it's very funny, being nihilistic and not giving a damn. Yeah, but you still have to put up the good fight, otherwise, what are you worth at all? In any objective or subjective measure, you become basically worthless. You become nothing more than an automaton of sorts. I just hope that we can keep fighting with words so that no other fighting has to occur. That's why the number one issue has to be free speech online. As long as we can keep talking, as long as we can keep fairly informing people of what's going on, the globalists haven't won, so to speak. Which is exactly why they want to convince Ma and Pa America that multi-billion-dollar corporations should come in and tell them what their kids can and cannot see on YouTube. Oh my God, that Stick Hexenhammer, he uses the word fuck a lot. Might give them ideas, so you gotta restrict that. Tommy Robinson, oh my God, he whipped out an iPhone in front of a court. Restricted mode. And so stuff like that happens. It would be funny if the U.S.-Mexico border was closed. And here, let's look at it seriously. Joking aside. I understand that it would cause a lot of problems for a lot of people. There are a lot of people who commute to and from work across the border. There are a lot of people, especially people who have immigrated from Mexico or their residents, on a work visa. And I've seen this. We'll go back to Mexico on weekends sometimes, and they'll go shopping there where things are cheaper. Bring basic goods across and stuff, and visit family and stuff like that, or their friends on the other side of the border. So I can sort of get that, but I mean, Trump's running out of options as to how to solve this problem. Congress has repeatedly struck down the idea of securing the border. If it had been fully secured, if you upgraded just the border crossings and completed the fence, wall, whatever the fuck you want to split hairs and call it now, if you were to complete the planned barrier, it's about, I think, 250 something miles that needs to be completely done, and then some hundreds of miles more that need to be upgraded or repaired because, things get old. If you did that, you fundamentally wouldn't have this problem. The reason you wouldn't have this problem is partially psychological. People simply would not waste their time walking across the whole fucking nation of Mexico to get to our border if they knew that there was something there to stop them from crossing. What we've got is a situation where the politicians here have said, we want you here, we hate our own president, we don't really give a damn about our own citizens, we just want more slave labor. Come on in. That's what the never-Trumpers that stand with the Democrats on this are saying. They don't care about, my little kids who got tear gassed, my little kids, my little children. Think of the family, they're poor and downtrodden. Give us more of your poor and downtrodden. Wonderful. The problem is that half of them get abducted or raped along the way, or get turned into drug mules. The problem is that terrorists can filter in with people that do mean no harm. The problem is there's cartel activity throughout the whole length of it. Yeah, what a wonderful thing you're doing. You are so noble. All of these rich liberals are so noble, but notice they always live in their very lily-white gated communities while they're talking about these things. That is, what we need is a country in which people who are in positions of power are not sheltered from the fallout from their own decisions. Yeah, we should relocate all their congressional offices to the ghetto. Why don't we do that? Then maybe they'll care about the inner cities a little bit more. Yeah, make them all live in inner city Detroit. We're going to relocate the effective capital of the United States, the middle of fucking Detroit. We're going to put them in Highland Park. How about that? I think that would be funny. Middle of Chicago in the north side, or is it south side? I can't remember which one's the bad side of Chicago. Oh wait, it's Chicago. Why am I asking this? But no, the border closure would be a problem. But I mean, what else do you expect them to do, dude? What can Trump do to appease these people? He's already said, okay, here's a basket of goodies that I can give you. I just need this border funding because I promised it to people and we need it. More caravans are forming. The border's a mess. ICE agents are starting to get demoralized, and that's after giving them more money. That's after hiring more of them. Look, Trump has done everything shy of building the wall and actually cracking down on the sanctuary city situation. He's already won everything else. He's got new agents, more border agents, and more patrols. There is some new fencing and barriers going up, and so of the e-fence thing as well. The idea of an e-fence was, by the way, a Bush administration sort of joke. Basically, the technology wasn't refined enough back then. Now it's feasible, but it's like, why not just build the wall first? Why not have an actual physical barrier there, not just a bunch of cameras that I'm sure half the time will be pointed inwards anyway, and that's really the problem. When people say, it's funny, here's the other part. Here's what I don't get. All these liberals are like, well, it's dystopian, the wall keeps you in as well, man, you gotta fight the power. Okay, wonderful. But you support an e-wall that's literally gonna consist of drones and cameras and weird shit like that, monitoring everyone within a mile of the border. So it's already dystopian. What are you talking about? A wall isn't spying on you. The wall is there to keep people from crossing it illegally. It's not for lack of giving a damn about people in other countries. Yes, it'd be wonderful. It'd be a perfect world if everyone could be like the United States. It'd be a perfect world if everyone had what we had. But we can't do that. We can't even maintain what we have if we try to implement that. That's the fucking problem. The United States would cease to be a major player in the world if we just threw the border open Beto style. And he sits there and he gesticulates like a fucking evangelical preacher. Oh man, I want to tear down this wall. It'd be so funny. He should go into that, or he should be a stand-up comedian, because he's definitely a very funny dude. Unintentionally. It's more like a court jester, I guess, than Artie Lang, but maybe more like a Bill Cosby. After all, he is a politician. We know these people get up to some weird shit. No, I hope that the border doesn't have to be closed. But I mean, the time period is quickly closing as well, where you can actually solve this fucking problem. And Congress, obviously, they're not going to get their act together. It's going to require that the Ninth Circuit decision get seen by SCOTUS. They're going to side with Trump. There's like a 99% chance they do. And then he will finally be able to free up Pentagon funding. It's discretionary money that's already been given for defense purposes. He can force it to be allocated to pretty much anything he wants. There's a great deal of latitude with those many hundreds of billions of dollars a year the Pentagon gets in discretionary funding. What happens is Congress gives them money and lets them do what they think is prudent. The chief executive can come in and redirect some of that money, and they're like, well, he's going to take it away from pensions for, what was it, I can't remember, someone's pensions were going to go away. It's like fucking, you're sitting there arguing about pensions. You're not going to be able to pay pensions down the road at all if our country's economy collapses because we have no border. You realize how many people are in this country illegally. It's quite an astonishing number. It's more than most of the countries in the world have citizens. Wonderful. Yes, I'm sure that's not a drag on the economy at all. At the very least, and even in the best case scenario, you're still going to have to do sort of a Stimson-Mazzoli thing. There will have to be amnesty for certain groups of people. Yes, if they've been here as students or whatever. Yeah, I would think, I mean, it wouldn't make any sense to give them all the benefits they've already gotten and then kick them out anyway. Some of these people came here when they were 2 or 3. I would have let them stay, but then you got to tackle the other side of the problem, which is there as Trump would say, some bad hombres filtering in, cartel members and shit. Well, I mean, Democrats don't even want to talk about the issue. They'd rather deflect and talk about overstayed visas. Most of the people in the United States illegally did not come across the border. They overstayed tourist visas or work visas or some other form of they came in a relationship and they just never leave. Yeah, understood. Different issue entirely. We can talk about that, but we got to do something about the border first. People aren't coming across in Boeings by the tens of thousands to overstay work visas together. It's just not happening. It's a much more clear problem, and it is a threat to the nation for psychological reasons as well. It makes us look weak. It makes us look weak and confused when Congress can't even come together to do something as simplistic, as straightforward, and as obviously necessary as securing an unsecure border. If they can't get that done, how the hell are they going to develop a better foreign policy? Look, there's an argument to be made about maybe putting the military in charge of the situation. At the very least, they have a sense of strategic thinking. It's pretty bad. Trust me, it's pretty bad when a libertarian is suggesting that sort of thing seriously, and I'm seeing it more and more. People are getting pissed off. It's a major issue. That's about all. Peace out.